There's many things that are affecting digital print at the moment and driving these trends. One of those is the population growth, because as you can imagine, the booming population at the moment is coming into a world of the internet. It wasn't a world that we came into, it's a different world. And they expect different things. They're very, very immediate people. And this is driving certain trends that we'll talk about. The globalisation, the fact that companies are all over the world. They have a brand, they want that brand represented in one country and the same in another country. The technologies, whether they be litho or whether they be digital, need to be able to fingerprint those brand colours, spot colours if necessary, Pantones, in order to make sure the brand integrity is the same all over the world. How are the pages printed? This is a really interesting chart. You know, it takes you from 2004 to 2014. And this is the value of print by print processes. And interestingly enough, you know, people say, is sheet-fed offset going to die? It's doing very well in terms of adapting. You know, the offset presses, all the computer to plate and all the breakthroughs that they've made to make that front end faster in order to continue having a place. And offset will have a place for a very long time. The web offset is suffering a little bit more. Flexo is suffering because of digital large format, and obviously gravure, but digital is growing. You can see the percentage there that it grows. More interesting in some ways is the investment. So although sheet-fed is still, you know, going to be a clear offset process, investment will still occur, there'll be a different type of press that's bought. Webset definitely beginning to suffer, and it's a run length issue as much as anything. Digital investment growing tremendously. Once you decide that in a plant, you know, if you have litho and digital, that digital will now become a mainstream part of your business, the question is, which digital? There are more customer segments because there's more data available. People know that certain people do this and certain people do that. So once you know that, why don't you speak to them in the way that they would like to be spoken to? Talk to them about the things they would like to hear about. And you can do that with digital. There's more products and services now. You know, the amount of goods available compared to, you know, 20 years ago, the varieties of phones, of anything, it's huge. And the amount of marketing that takes. And when they're on the shelves, they're only on the shelves for a short period of time. You know, the phones change very quickly. All the literature has to be redone. Faster time to market. You know, something happens in a retail environment, another retailer has to respond very quickly. Need digital to do that. Long tail management, this is all about publications. So books will be printed, they'll print X thousand books, they'll go to a warehouse, they will sell out. And then all of a sudden they'll start getting requests for 1s and 2s and 10s and 20s and 30s of that book. Digital can reproduce that book without the costs of high volume. And if you put them side by side, you wouldn't tell. More sophisticated customers, you know, you get something through the post today that says to the occupier, you won't even open it now. Years ago you might have done. You get something through the post that looks a bit boring, you may not even open it now. You know, years ago you might have done. Because you expect so much more. You expect something more than that. The tools to create these end-to-end solutions. You know, I remember years ago when we were at IPEX, we hardly had any papers for the press. You know, the media weren't that interested because there wasn't the volume, there wasn't the demand. Now the range of substrates is just enormous. You know, so all these enablers have come, which has allowed and promoted all this growth.